The Hobbit is a story that is a more innocent story, if you like.
We join Bilbo in this as the book The Hobbit does, as a kind of home-loving, fairly solitary, middle-aged hobbit.
The Hobbit is an adventure story, and the person who goes on the adventure is the Hobbit.
Bilbo Baggins. I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure.
He's set in his ways, you know. He's got his routine and he likes it, and he sees no reason why it should be upset.
Mr. Baggins, at your service.
I can't just go running off into the blue. I am a Baggins of Bag End.
He's rather bullied into it by a wizard who thinks he knows best.
You asked me to find the 14th member of this company, and I have chosen Mr. Baggins.
The one thing with hobbits is that they are very stealthy.
Hobbits can pass unseen by most if they choose, which gives us a distinct advantage.
You can't really say that Bilbo volunteers for the job of going on the quest. He sort of ends up on it despite his better instincts.
Here, Mr. Bilbo, where are you off to? I'm going on an adventure!
There's good and there's great evil in this story. It's timeless, really.
A lot of the events of The Hobbit are actually setting up and establishing forces at work which are later going to be big players in The Lord of the Rings.
Home is now behind us. The world is ahead.
You'll have a tale or two to tell when you come back.
Can you promise that I will come back?
No.
Now it's time we brought in everyone's favourite character, Gollum. We've actually got quite a lot in common. He likes riddles and games. I like riddles and games. He likes jewellery. I love jewellery. He likes to talk to the voices in his head and reviewing people that he meets with murderous intent. That is where the similarities end.
Why don't we have a game of riddles?
And if it loses, what then? If Baggins loses, we need to go.
Fair enough.
Andy, it's so great to see you back, and so great to see this terrifying but adorable character back as well.
He's a bit more handsome, don't you think?
He's younger?
He's younger, he's a bit more hot, you know. No.
What is it about this character that people love? People adore Gollum.
Well, it's strange, isn't it? Because he's not really, you know, you'd think that they'd hate him. Well, I think that's the thing, is they do hate him and adore him, and they pity him, and they really genuinely kind of despise him, and then will laugh at him, and I think he's so flawed and so screwed up and so human. I think that's why they do, you know.
Do you love playing him?
I love it, yeah, he's a great character.
Gollum loves a riddle. I've got one for you. Can you just the
I'm so
one?
bad at riddles.
It's easy. This is easy. What has 2 legs and flies, yet never moves?
A what? A pair of trousers.
Yes. I like it.
I'm a hobbit from the Shire.
We like goblins as bastards and fishes, but we haven't tried horses before.
But it's not just Bilbo Baggins and dwarves who have made an epic journey. Fans have travelled from all over the world to be here at the UK premiere in the hope of hobnobbing with a hobbit, gabbing with a goblin, or talking with an orc. Where have you come from? Austria. All the way to see this. I'm studying here, but yes, I would have come anyway. Where are you from? I'm from New Brunswick, Canada. Poland. Japan. Crikey. Colombia. Whoa. Is Tolkien's work big in Colombia? Yeah, we're really big fans of Colombia. Are you a big fan of Tolkien's work? Oh god, I love his work. It transports you to another world, and I just love the adventure element of it. It's just amazing how they are written. I really love them. He has all this universe in his head, and all these languages, and all these many different characters. It's amazing. I just love it. I absolutely love it. I love it that much. What have you got here? I got the Hobbit. That is in Polish. Hopefully I'm going to get that autograph. What's your favourite characters in the book? Gandalf. Gandalf, of course. You shall not pass. Samwise Gamgee is my favourite from Lord of the Rings. And I really like Bilbo. Bilbo. We all have a little bit of Bilbo in us. I think so, yeah. I think he's just your everyman, and that's why he's so great. What about Prince Thorin or some of the dwarves? They're nice, yeah, but Gandalf rules. Yeah. Merchant word transformation, I mean, crikey. Unrecognisable.
I thought you were saying recognisable.
Yeah.
Thanks.
How would you describe Thorn?
I guess he's a hero, but he's flawed. He has an anxiety in him as to whether he's good enough to take these dwarves on a quest. And he's been bequeathed a revenge story from his grandfather and his father, so he has to kind of lead his people back to reclaim the kingdom that they've lost.
We were told by some of your fellow dwarfs that there was a pretty intense dwarf training academy involved.
Boot camp.
Yeah.
Yes, and we wore boots, and Martin Freeman described it as being quite camp. So yes, he hit the nail on the head. But Terry Notary, he always described the dwarves as having balls of stone. So having that image in your head is a good way to start the day. And he worked with a weight belt, so we put a belt on and with a weight in that particular area, and we learned how to walk. So it was a very crazy time.
Cut the rope! wizards. I like mine with big pointy hats, long flowing cloaks, and the biggest beards you can find. Thankfully, Gandalf ticks all my boxes when it comes to wizardly necessities.
Miss Randir, why the halfling?
Why Bilbo Baggins? Perhaps it is because I'm afraid.
It's great to see you back.
Thank
in
you.
the cloak with the beard and just running things.
Yeah, running. Oh, lots of running. This way, come on, quickly.
And a lot of action again in this film. Do you like that side to it? Do you...
Well, the action, if it involves Gandalf, involves me running. That's fine. And now we do it again, and again, and again, and again. And just one more time. And often carrying a heavy sword and a big staff and make sure the hat doesn't fall off. Well, that's fine. But a lot of the running, of course, is not me. There was a Gandalf team.
How many?
Well, sometimes it seemed as many as 7 or 8 people, all pretending, including me, to be Gandalf. When you want to shrink Martin Freeman, there's a tall Gandalf. If you see Gandalf racing off into the distance, galloping on some horse, that won't be me. I don't want to fall off a horse. And if there's fighting, it's probably the stunt double Gandalf. But if you can see my face, then it's me. And if you see me jumping over goblin fences and swinging into the space and doing daring do of that sort, that's not even anybody. No, that's computer generated Gandalf.
You don't understand what's going on. You are being hunted.
Coming up, more Middle-earth mayhem from the premiere. James Nesbitt introduces us to Aidan Turner.
Because he's the hot dwarf.
And Martin Freeman reveals how he adjusted to Peter Jackson's direction.
Which, when he says, well, for that, means at least 8 more.
Welcome back to The Hobbit, an unexpected journey T4 premiere special, and look at this incredible event as Middle-earth twins with Central London for this royal event. Now, as we've already learned, Middle-earth is part with orcs and wargs and mysterious and slightly sinister characters. Fortunately, middle of Central London is nothing like that. Until it gets dark, and then you never know what may well be lurking around the corner. Richard, this is Leicester Square, this is the UK premiere. What emotions are you feeling right now in terms of this reception?
This is the one I was nervous about, because I thought that I might step onto the carpet and start crying. And I had a dream last night that I got lost outside the cinema and I couldn't find my way in. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But it's so great to come to London and bring it home.
James Nesbitt, how are you, sir?
Good, I'm a wee bit foundered, as we say, where we come from, a bit cold, but no, it's fantastic. I mean, the warmth of the crowd is just beating the pub. I mean, I don't have this outside my house every day. I mean, maybe I should.
And nice to see you all looking smart.
No, I haven't put on a suit in a long time. I feel amazed. I'm going to do it more often. This is an extra bow tie. If it comes undone on you, we've got to put it on again.
What's great about the dwarfs is that each one has their own individual characteristics. How would you describe your character?
I think he sort of idolises Thorin and tries to be brave and courageous like his uncle, you know?
I would say Buffer's quite childlike and playful. He's funny and brave. He likes hard work and hard fighting, but he's not a stranger to a glass of wine.
Dwalin's characteristics, well, he's kind of like a Hell's Angel with axes, really.
To be honest, he's probably more interested in food than the actual journey. If he doesn't eat, he gets a bit grumpy.
How many of your fellow dwarfs' names can you remember?
Oh, God, I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, you're the king, you surely got to remember the dwarfs' names.
Well, let me see. Oin Cloyne.
Dwalin, Balin,
Bit for both of them. Philly Killy.
Dorin, Ori.
And Thorin.
Amazing. Amazing!
If this is some bloodhead's idea of a duck, I can only say it's in very poor taste.
For fans of Tolkien in general, I think it's just going to get people really excited.
You can imagine anything in your mind now. You can shut your eyes and imagine anything visually, and you can put that on screen. The trick is that what is an interpretation of Tolkien? I mean, it's always going to be very personal, so I try to make the movie that I'd like to see.
I've been asked by so many people about, what it feels like to be back or to have been asked to come back. And it's just it's a total thrill.
It's an amazing thing to be able to return to something that was begun 12 years ago.
And it still smells of Tron.
Everybody that we asked to come back said yes, which was great. If Ian McKellen, for whatever reason, had said, listen, I've done Gandalf once, I don't want to do him again, I would never have made the film. I mean, I couldn't have directed the film with somebody else playing Gandalf. It would have broken my heart.
How's that look?
The casting of Bilbo was absolutely essential because, if that character didn't work, the film wasn't going to work. I mean, it was the most important piece of casting. And we always wanted Martin Freeman. There was something about Martin that we thought captured the essence of Bilbo. It's, the fact that he's a great dramatic actor, but he has that brilliant comic timing. We needed someone that could do both. One of the scary things about adapting The Hobbit is the fact that there's 13 dwarves is really the bulk of your cast. And differentiating those characters was important.
What happens when the pub's open when dwarves are around?
Each of these dwarves have a role to play in the story. It was very important to us that we were able to give them their own personalities.
Don't like green food. Have they got any chips?
The visual effects on The Hobbit have certainly advanced a lot in the 10 years since we did The Lord of the Rings. You know, I always had a desire to want to do digital orcs and goblins back in the Lord of the Rings days, but it wasn't practical. We did Gollum as a digital character, and in a way that was, you know, groundbreaking at that time. But the last 10 years, things have advanced so quickly, and we have completely digital characters now all over the place.
Far over the misty mountains cold.
I think you're going to see things that you've never seen before in film. I think you're going to believe in the characters. I think you'll go through heartache and horror, through wonder and majesty. The sense of awe you had as a child at things, I think hopefully you will leave with that awe firmly in place.
Now, Bilbo sets off with 13 dwarves. Thorin, Balin, Dwalin, Bifur, Bofur, Kelly, Philly. Who's naming these dwarves? The Beckhams?
Bilbo, allow me to introduce Philly, Kitty, Owen, Loin, Darlin, Balin, Bifur, Buffer, Bulber, Nori, and the leader of our company, Thorin Oakenshield.
James Aiden, congratulations on this. Am I right in thinking that there was an element of dwarf boot camp involved in...
There was a lot of preparation for this. We had there was movement classes and dialect coaching and singing lessons and sword fighting,
Horse riding, stunts. You know, and what an incredible luxury to be afforded that. You know, I mean, that's one of the great things with Pete. I mean, he realised that, you know, this wasn't just another job. This was a lifestyle change, and so as the 13 dwarves going on a journey, so 13 actors are going on a journey. So we had a lot of time to kind of prepare for that, which was great.
and to band and stuff. Yeah.
I imagine with that there's a lot of on-set kind of jiggery pokery and fun and taking the mick. And
But by the time what was good about that is by the time you get to start filming, you're sort of hitting the ground running, you know. And I mean, some of them you want to embrace, some of them you want to hit. But and our first scene was actually in Bag End, where we're wearing these huge costumes and all that in this tiny little set. So it was challenging, but ultimately very rewarding.
and quite specific and unique is probably the word I'd use to describe your outfits.
Yeah, I mean, I got away with a lot. Some of you were wearing a hat for a long time.
Well, because he's the hot dwarf, so he gets to wear it very
Yeah, I didn't overheat so much. A lot of the guys had to wear these cooling vests under the costume as well and plug themselves into an ice box, and it runs cold water down their body. And
the guy that plays my
Stephen
brother,
Hunter.
Bomber, Stephen Hunter, you know, the huge one,
That's ridiculous.
I mean, he would sweat in the fridge, to tell you the truth, but he struggled now.
And in that whole process of, you know, how a film like this works, a lot of it green screen and that kind of thing, is, I guess, being in those costumes almost helps create that world around you as well, when
Yeah.
a lot of it's not there.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if the costumes help so much to create that world, but you kind of just get into it and you get used to it. I mean, when action is called, you kind of just have the other person there, and you kind of just have to look into their eyes and do it. I mean, I don't know if I got distracted so much.
I know, but also you'd be surprised we didn't do that much green screen,
No.
because there's like 6 or 7 stages, studios there, so they just built the sets. The sets are truly extraordinary, you know. But also we got used to recognising each other as the characters. At the end of the day, because often you would just disappear. So when you saw them like this, you'd think, who's that? It was more unusual to see them, you know,
That's
living
right.
ordinary.
Hours in makeup then.
I was a fool now. Well, he was very lucky.
25 minutes.
Oh man.
For the nose, little
Job
prosthetic
alright.
nose.